When hope is gone, undo this lock and send me forth on a moonlit walk. Release restraint level 0. Hey kids, wanna see a dead body?
Hi guys, this is the Void of the Ravenclaw. Welcome back to another fanfiction story. We're gonna continue where we last left off after escaping the planet of a trading world and his encounter by the rest of the slaver ships that were just outside of the planet orbit. After Izuku obliterated their ships, they continued their way back towards Blackfire's homeworld, Tamaran. It's still going to take them some time to get to Tamaran. As you see Izuku sitting on the bridge on the small ship that they stole from the pirates. As he's going through the ship's mainframe of all the different planets the ship will eventually pass. If we continue this route, we'll bypass a lot of planets. Blackfire floated towards Izuku and wrapped her arms around him from behind. When she stopped floating in the air, "You got up pretty early." "Morning, Blackfire. I was going over your galaxy map. That's installed on the ship. According to the charts, if we continue this pathway, we will be passing through quite a few planets before we get to your homeworld, Tamaran. Some of these planets has caught my curiosity, so I want to check them out while we're heading to your homeworld. What do you think?" "Let me see." Blackfire floated up and floated down onto Izuku's lap, looking at the galaxy map. "There's a few planets that I haven't been in a while, and there's some others on the way to my home planet that I've never visited before. I'm up for some pit stops. Sounds fun. It's never dull around you, is it?" "Unfortunately, trouble always tends to find me. One such trouble is sitting on my lap." "Hey, trouble? You wound me, sir." Izuku and Blackfire start laughing from their little banter between each other. In all seriousness, "You're trouble, but you're lucky. I like trouble." "You do like me. Please continue buttering me up." Izuku got up from his chair and carried Blackfire, bridal style, and sat her gently in her chair. "As much as I would love to continue this, we have work to do." "A bit disappointing, but you're right. We should get busy." Izuku, we have an incoming meteor storm at the closest planet to our location. According to what a chart says, we'll be arriving in that sector during a meteor storm. Can we fly around it? According to charts, it will take us way out of the way. I would rather avoid flying right into a meteor storm. Can, but that would not be recommended. We will be entering Green Lantern outposts in that area of that sector. Well, that makes things difficult. me and the Green Lanterns have a history, so let's not do that. So what do you suggest? If we somehow manage to able to get around the meteor storm, I suggest we land on the planet and lay low till the meteor storm passes. But according to what's on here, this planet has frequent meteor storms. The planet itself is nearby a wormhole near the planet that constantly shoots out smaller, medium-sized meteors. Then the planet gravity does the rest. Well, that's lovely. I hate dealing with wormholes. At least it's not a black hole. Are you good when it comes to flying? I have a lot of experience flying ships. My old man is a warlord after all. It was a necessary skill I had to learn when I was younger. I'm not the best at it, but I'm not the worst either. I should be able to handle this. I'll leave that up to you. I might be able to fly on my own, but I'm not really good when it comes to piloting spacecraft. I'm switching to autopilot. I'm switching autopilot to manual. We're approaching the point of no return. Beginning evasive of maneuvers. Make sure you're strapped down to your chair. I don't want you to get hurt. I'm doing the same. All buckled in, Izuku. Good timing as the ship churned sharp to the right, dodging a swarm of meteors about the size of a baseball flying downwards into the planet. The closer they got to the planet, the more numbers of the meteors come flying down. Izuku had to maneuver around the meteors that he was able to maneuver and do a barrel roll to dodge the rest. When Izuku was finally beginning to enter the planet atmosphere, a stray meteor hit the side of the ship, making Izuku to make an emergency landing in the desert area of the planet. As the ship hit the sand, making a sand cloud covering the ship, when it finally landed, after skidding across the sand for about 4 miles in the desert, Izuku saw the button on the console to the right, in front of him, and the ship got clipped, entering the atmosphere of the planet. There's a small fire near the engine room as he pressed the button to activate the not exterminators, but fire extinguishers. As Izuku pressed the button on the console, activating, then pressing the auto cloak. After he made sure the fire was no longer there, he unbuckled himself from his chair and got up to check on Blackfire. She's lost consciousness. The landing wasn't gentle one bit, so she got whiplash and got knocked out. Izuku unbuckled her and picked her up bridal style into the cabin they've been sharing. He gently placed Blackfire on the bed. He proceeded to sit down on the small chair that's in the cabin and began to read his book. Izuku can't do much now. The cloak is active, so there's no chance of them being located. The cloaking technology in the ship is quite advanced. They'll eventually have to explore the area. But first he needs to get an estimate of the damage from re-entry into the planet's atmosphere and getting hit by the ship being hit by a meteor or two. Several hours later, Blackfire finally regained consciousness as she groans, as she tries to sit up, only for Izuku to help her up, as he made sure she was okay. As he places a glass of water against her lips. Drink it slowly, it's water. Thank you, Izuku. I needed that. What exactly happened? The ship got clipped in re-entry on the planet. Re-entry. In the process of entering the the planet atmosphere. I've already checked the estimate of the damage to the ship. It seems like we crash landed on part of the planet that is not currently being rained down by the meteor storm. How are you holding up? I'm fine now. My head's spinning a little bit, but I should be fine in a little bit. I appreciate you taking care of me. Let's get this ball rolling. Let's explore this planet. I want to get the list of the estimate of damage. Hopefully we could get some replacements here on this planet. Hopefully they have a space docks. I'm not sure the level of the technology they have here, but I do agree. It only took them 3 hours to... It only took Izuku 3 hours to debrief Blackfire of all the estimated damage on the ship that needs to be repaired. Some parts that they need to purchase will be highly expensive, and others will be minor priced, easy to install into the ship. As they exit their spaceship and started flying in a random direction, luckily for Izuku and Blackfire, they landed on part of the planet that's not getting hit by the meteor storm. This planet only has mountain terrain and desert terrain. Mountain/desert planet. Because of the meteor storms over the centuries, it terraformed the planet into the state it is today. Izuku and Blackfire had to dodge a man-eating sandworm, bursting out of the sand, trying to devour them. One man-eating worm turned to 10 in mere seconds. Izuku and Blackfire did not nod at each other as they tried to get higher descent to get out of the range of the man-eating worms. Blackfire was shocked by the worms unleashing their wings as all 10 of them fly out of the sand, beginning their motion over to Izuku and Blackfire to devour them in the air. Giant man-eating killer worms with wings. That's definitely new. Talking more killing. I really don't want to be eaten by one of those. Oh, you are correct. I should get my head in the game. I would like to observe these creatures further, but they are threatening to eat us. And I refuse to be a snack for an oversized worm that has wings. Odd creatures, really. Izuku dodged a incoming worm that was trying to eat him as he flies down the huge worm's body, trying to spot any weak points on the worm. That would be a one hit kill. Izuku, while he's trying to search for a weak spot, he noticed the worm has pretty tough skin. It seems like his skin is made of rock. Izuku was broken out of his inner thoughts by another man-eating worm, shooting fire out of his mouth. Izuku maneuvered around the fire breath, so he wouldn't get hit by the toasty fire. When he dodged, the fire hit a nearby killer worm. After the smoke cleared, it seems like the worm got blasted by fire. Has no damage whatsoever. Izuku assumes that they're immune to fire. I could deal with flying huge, man-eating worms, but fire-breathing, flying, man-eating worms, that's where I draw the line. Izuku blitzed towards the nearest worm and slammed his fist into the body of the predator, making the body explode on itself from the pure force of his strike, as chunks of flesh and pebbles from the rock skin rained down. Izuku pushed some rubble and guts off his shoulder. I'm definitely going to need a shower after this. This is definitely not sanitary. As you see a humongous worm flying behind Izuku, as it begins to open its mouth wide, as Izuku looks up to see a very sharp teeth. You gotta be kidding me. As the worm closed his mouth, as it dived into the sand, Izuku sliding down the creature's throat, making Izuku go deeper into the body of the man-eating worm. When Izuku stopped sliding downwards, down the flesh floor of the inside of the worm, he saw miniature-looking worms with 4 legs, scavenging all around. This keeps getting better and better, as Izuku watched the little creatures begin to surround him. They all lunge at Izuku as the son of Darkseid eyes begin to glow green, as green Omega beams shoot out of his eyes, vaporizing every single one of them. As the beam flies around, hitting them almost all at once, killing all the smaller weird creatures. Izuku walked forward while his beams were flying in the air, all around him. Continued down the creature's body, killing any hostile creatures that try to eat him. Izuku continued his path down the creature's body to locate the heart or some important organ, so he could kill the creature for trying to eat him. Then he'll bust out of the corpse when he's finished. Izuku saw similar creatures throughout the whole body. Izuku only noticed 2 variations of the same creature. One was flesh, and one was solid rock skin. After Izuku observed the creatures for a little bit, he noticed a small little worm. Same creature. Eating anything that the humongous worm ate. He expects these small little creatures work to break down any material that the stomach can't break down. Must have some sort of symbiotic relationship between the smaller creatures and the huge worm. This is quite fascinating. I would love to learn more, but I need to get out of here. As Izuku killed any hostile life form that tried to attack him on his way to the heart of the creature, a quick Omega Beam dealt with any any hostiles. Finally locate the heart that seemed to be covered in rock as he slammed his fist into the organ as blood begins to gush out of the heart, as Izuku could hear the creature scream out in pain as the oversized worm busts out of the sand, wailing around as the creature finally felt limp, dead to the ground. Fire just got finished killing the 5 humongous worms that were coming after her, as she saw one of the worms flying out of the sand and immediately falling down dead, as something bursts out of the body of the creature, as she sees Izuku coming out covered in guts, as he blew a hole out of the body of the creature. Well, that was an interesting experience. I've never been eaten before. Seems like you're having fun. It looks like you have some work to do, as she points to the remaining 5 worms that he still hasn't took care of. Izuku saw the remaining flying, man-eating worms coming towards his direction. He instantly finished them all off with his Omega Beams. And why didn't he do that in the first place? I really didn't feel like it. Boys, let's get back to the ship. I need a shower and a change of clothes. I agree, I got some guts in my hair. Disgusting creatures. You got my vote and confidence in there. After a quick fly back to the ship, Izuku definitely jumped in the shower and cleaned his clothes. As he walked out of the shower drying his hair, with Blackfire doing the same while she's sitting on the bed. The night cycle has most likely started on this planet, so what's the plan? Let's turn in for tonight and continue exploring this world in the morning. As they both laid down, as she wrapped Izuku's arms around her, falling asleep. The next morning, they continued where they last left off, in the desert, flying in the air. Izuku saw some humanoid-looking aliens running away from the same type of aliens with some sort of motor vehicle. It resembles a motorcycle that floats off the ground. Izuku can tell they're definitely trouble. They look like some sort of bike gang, alien bike gang. They are all wearing similar clothes. Damn it! I don't know why. Damn it! I don't know why I'm doing this. As Izuku immediately bolted downwards, interrupting the alien bike gang members from hurting some of the civilians of the same race. Izuku noticed several children among them. When the closest biker was about to grab one of the civilians, Izuku shot to the ground and slid across the sand, slapping the biker's hand away from the non-combatant before the filthy alien could even hurt the civilian. Then controlling his strength as he chopped through his hand with a simple karate chop motion, severing the alien's right hand as it screams out in pain. As the rest of the bikers stop. Blackfire, get down here. We got ourselves some locals we need to introduce ourselves to. for the type to help innocent civilians, you really don't seem the type. Normally, you would be correct, but my time on Earth, I caught a few bad habits. I couldn't simply allow these pathetic insects to hurt non-combatants. Not and will not allow that to happen in my presence. And there's no point talking to these insects. Make sure you don't pull your punches. In other words, kill them all. With pleasure, as Blackfire shot out her purplish pink energy bolts out of her hands and eyes, killing several of the low life, while Izuku devastated the rest with his Apocalypse Tech brass knuckles that disperse a small charge after Izuku makes contact with his fist. Izuku turned around, took off his brass knuckles and put in his jacket pocket, and made his way over to the scared civilians. I do apologize for that graphic scene, but you must believe us, we mean you no harm. We're new arrivals on this planet. May you direct me to the nearest shipyard on your lovely planet. We can. Thank you for saving us. You're the first. We've never met a friendly off-worlder before. If you didn't interfere, we probably would have been hauled off to the slave district. Izuku logged that small bit of detail for later. He'll most likely investigate. He's still trying to make his mind if he's going to just leave them alone or outright destroy their little slave system they got on this world. But he'll worry about that at a later date. He has to find parts for his ship. Izuku can tell they're genuinely grateful, even though they're scared and suspicious at the same time. He's going to have to choose his words very carefully in interacting with these non-combatants. Work at the shipyard, so I should be able to show you where to go. Once we get back to the city, we're going to have to... we were on our way back to the city before we were harassed by that biker gang. They've been causing trouble around the city and outside. Their leader, she's a nasty one. I escort you back to the city so no one tries to cause you harm. Think of it as a thank you for the information. Blackfire walked beside Izuku and wrapped her arms around his. As she started to whisper or talk quieter to Izuku so no one could hear her. Well, I'm doing a good deed now and then, but why are you sticking your neck out? We don't know how long we're going to be here on this world, so making friends and contacts will be important moving forward. I'm fully trained to deal with diplomatic things, such as this. Oh, you're full of surprises. Izuku and Blackfire continue to escort the civilians, walking through the desert as the scenery changed to desert terrain to mountain terrain. Izuku's eyes widen, not by the city that has a shield over it, but the floating skull in the sky. That was departing from the clouds, hovering over the city. As the huge, humongous skull starts dropping things onto the ground, as humongous metal skull begins shooting at the shields, protecting the city. After a few blasts, the shield dissipated as the metal skull floating in the air begins dropping more reinforcements into the city itself. Don't know what the hell that is, but that can't be good. So, what's the plan? Do you have some place where you take your group to be safe for a while? We have a safe haven near the city. Fortunately, my family is already with me, but I do feel sorry for the people inside the city. But I can't do nothing about it. I'm pretty much powerless to change things. Follow me. As Izuku followed them until they got to a cave. Will you be alright on your own for a while? We'll be fine. We know how to take care of each other. I don't know what that thing is in the sky floating, but it's very ominous. I've never seen anything like it. I've heard stories back home, but seeing it in person is something else. So you do know what that is, and who's responsible. And I do, Blackfire. I've never met him, but my father has. He has met him on occasion. His name is Brainiac. He steals cities and then destroys the planet afterwards. According to what I've been taught, you can't compromise or talk him down. He's nothing but a pure logic monster. He was once a living creature at one time, but that time has long passed. According to what we have on Brainiac, on Apocalypse, most life forms believe he's nothing but a myth, boogeyman if you would phrase it. Mere mention of Brainiac inspires fear. Things are going to get hectic around here. As long as Brainiac's hovering over this world, there's no way we could get the parts we need while the city's in pure chaos. Izuku looked up in the sky as he saw a drone flying around, getting closer to their location. Izuku could hear the sounds of battle in the city, as he could see smoke visible from the burning buildings. As Izuku shot out his Omega Beam, destroying the drone before the drone located their location with his Omega Beam. The rest of you stay here in the cave. I'll return when the situation has been dealt with. Blackfire, we're moving out. Izuku immediately took flight. So did Blackfire. This doesn't make any sense. What do you mean, Izuku? According to what information I've read about Brainiac, he would never be interested in such a civilization. These people are clearly more advanced than Earthlings, but they're not advanced enough to get Brainiac's attention. There's something going on here that I clearly can't see. If he's not here for their technology, there must be something in their genetic code that might have caught his eye. With Brainiac, you never know. That sounds ominous. He must be alright in a party. We continue to fly with Blackfire as he turned his head towards her from that remark, as he raised his eyebrow at her. I kind of do that when I'm nervous and stressed out in a stressful situation. You're definitely different than your sister. Your sister is naive and has a cheerful manner about her. But you, on the other hand, you're serious at times, and you have an interesting sense of humor. Out, out of the two of you, I find you more interesting to be around. She didn't know where that came out of nowhere like that, but she couldn't help but smile at the compliment. It surprised her that he acknowledged her as her own person, not the not the sister of Starfire, the heir to the throne of Tamaran. She hates being compared to her sister. She really despises people comparing her to her goody-goody two-shoes of a sister. I'll take the right part of the city, you take the left. We'll meet up once we cut down their numbers and go after the big man himself. I've been told Brainiac is pretty strong, but according to what my old man says, at least that's what my old man said. He was somewhat impressed by that mechanical toaster. So the confrontation might be a little bit troublesome. I'll take care of it. I'll see you in a bit. Blackfire immediately split off. They split off the moment they entered the city, as they begin to eradicate the Brainiac bots in their own specific part of the city. You could do the same in his part of the city. In his parts, he needs to cleanse these toasters from the city. Izuku saw a group of non-combatants being grouped up in the middle of the street. As Izuku see a whole platoon of Brainiac bots aiming their blaster hands as they're about to open fire on the innocent civilians. Izuku flew towards the street and landed into a slide as he barely moved his leg into a spin right in front of the civilians and the hostile robots as they immediately opened fire as Izuku reflect every laser beam blast that came from the palm of their robot blasters and reflect them into the nearby buildings, leaving the non-combatants unharmed. The moment they stopped firing their arm blasters, Izuku blitzed towards the robots, slammed his fist into the robot as the moment he made contact, it exploded on itself. Izuku shot a couple of the other bots to his right with his Omega beams. Izuku turned around to caught a metal fist that was heading towards the back of his head with his left hand. Izuku forcefully made the bot kneel down on one knee as he ripped off the robot's arm. As he shoved his foot through the skull of the robot, destroying it. As he tossed the arm to the side, Izuku used his telekinesis to float the remaining bots and crush them with his pure telekinesis force. As several explosions go off all at once, all around Izuku. Used to get somewhere safe. The city streets are no longer safe for you non-combatants. Move. Izuku watches the civilian nod and leave the area, trying to find a safe place to lay low. Izuku took flight in search of more robots to smash. Bots he found on the ground, he immediately eradicated with his Omega beams. Izuku was forced to dodge to the right from an incoming attack from a small group of flying Brainiac bots. Izuku flew directly up, then immediately stopped, making the Brainiac bots dash past him. Then he immediately destroyed him with his Omega Beams when he got behind him. Then the Son of Darkseid continued searching for the rest of the toasters in the section of the city. Izuku could hear Blackfire shooting her bolts at her at the side of the city. He saw a couple of stray bolts shooting in the air. She seemed to be having fun. Izuku regained focus. He figured she could handle herself. As we cut to Blackfire, perspective, or point of view basically, as she has a massive smile on her face while blasting metal tin soldiers with her bolts coming from her hands. Come on, Bucket of Bolts. You could at least make this somewhat interesting for me. Consider you interrupted me with my Izuku time. You're starting to annoy me and clearly boring. As Blackfire yawned and blasts an incoming robot with her right hand, as her Black Bolt, or I don't know what, I know Starfire is called her Star Bolts. I don't remember what hers is called. I'm just gonna call them bolts from now on, or it doesn't really matter. Let's continue. She continued her assault with her bolts in rapid succession, killing robot after robot after robot. Blackfire bolted downward, smashing right into the middle of the ground, in the middle of the group of Brainiac bots. The moment her fist made contact with the ground, she created a small earthquake, then immediately blasted bolts from her eyes, smashing the rest of them with her fist, with a massive smile on her face. Blackfire made a humongous black bolt with both her hands as she's charging up a humongous blast. As her blast goes off, as it destroys the immediate area, a whole block, destroying all robots that were on that current block of the street. Blackfire noticed up in the corner of her eye as something shoot towards her direction, into a building, as her eyes widened when she saw Izuku walk out of the building, dusting his shoulder off from the rubble that landed on his shoulder. Having trouble? About that, I came across a new unit. This one's a lot bigger and stronger. I'll let you get back to your fun. Very well. I would prefer you to come back not injured. Yes, ma'am. As Izuku waves her off. Izuku immediately jump off the ground and immediately begin to fly as he cocked his hand backwards and land a devastating punch across the skull of the larger Brainiac bot that has thicker metal and far more durable and stronger than the average Brainiac box that he's been destroying so far. Fire looked backwards, then gazed at the part of the city where she could hear the sounds of battle from Izuku. I'm definitely going to have to keep you around. Things are far more fun in your company. I suppose I get my head back in the game. I have so many new toys to break. So many toys in so little time. As she turned her attention towards the incoming robots, as she charged up a bolt from her hand as she released it, destroying them instantly. As you see Izuku and his new opponent duke it out with each other as their fists collided, making a small shockwave. Izuku was quite surprised how well the Bucket of Bolts is keeping up with them. At this current level, Izuku could easily destroy this thing, using a fair amount of his full strength, but he wants to see how much this robot could take before it breaks. As they continue to exchange blow off of each other, Izuku leaned backwards as a humongous fist missed him by mere inches. As he slammed his right fist into the chest of the robot, as it goes skidding backwards, shredding the road. Izuku uses telekinesis to crush nearby Brainiac bots and morph them into small metal orbs and shot them at the bigger Brainiac bot, only to see the stubborn robot tank the incoming small metal orbs. It barely made a dent in the frame of the robot. It's indeed powerful, but that's... with these, there's usually a limit how much they can take. Fun part is finding your breaking point, you walking toaster. Really outdone yourself, Brainiac, but not good enough. Time to kick it up a notch. His speed increase as he appeared right in front of the bot in midair while slamming his foot into the soldier of the robot, making it kneel down one leg by the force. Izuku followed up his attack with a massive uppercut, making the robot go fly airborne. He re-picked up the metal orbs that he shot at it earlier, and shot out with the maximum force with his telekinesis, as the small metal orbs pierced right through the robot's hull. As the robot is falling down from the sky, as it hits the ground hard, as it slowly tries to get up, Izuku grabs the head of the robot with both of its hands, as he slightly increases his strength, as he begins to crushing the robot's skull. I know you have your toys bugged somehow. Once I'm done with your little tin toys, Brainiac, you're next. As he crushed the robot's head completely. As he blew up, as the rest of the body of the robot blow up as well. He shot the remaining bots that coming towards his direction with his Omega beams. Izuku turned around just in time to block an incoming attack as a large energy beam flies directly towards him in his direction. As he blocked it with his palm of his hands, as by the pure force of the beam is pushing Izuku backwards. Green hair, green eyes, and green Omega beams. You're one of Darkseid's offspring. So you're Brainiac. Figured you'd be taller. That I am. Even though you're not. Even though I'm not using my main body. You might be the son of Darkseid, but you're not that important for me to fight you in my main body. You're insignificant in the grand scheme of things. Playing your arms like barbarians, while the superior beings get things done. While the work is being done by intelligent life forms. You think pretty highly of yourself, being an oversized walking toaster. In that jab at my intelligence, it's not too smart. Clever you trying to get under my skin. A warning, Toaster. People tend to not live when they get on my bad side. You're playing a very dangerous game, Tin Man. But despite you being an utter prick, I can appreciate a well thought out invasion. Impressive. It is interesting being on the other side of things. For once. Skip the long monologue. How you're not going to stop and I won't be able to stop your plan. Blah, 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 blah. Let's get to the uncivilized part. I very much would like to smash your skull in. Get done with your little puppet. I'll be taking a house trip. As he stares up with a vicious smirk on his face, looking up at the floating skull in the sky, Izuku slowly took out his Apocalypse brass knuckles and placed it out of his jacket pocket and placed it on both of his fists. As he slammed both his fists together, making a small burst of energy emanate. Brainiac shot a beam of energy from his palm of his hand, trying to hit Izuku. As for the new god, Izuku was clearly able to dodge the waves of energy around. He wasn't expecting it the first time, but this time it's easy to predict. Izuku dodging and weave around the beams of energy until he got into range and unleashed a combination strike by landing a right hook to Brainiac's face, then a left hook to the side of the ribs, then followed up with a spin kick across Brainiac's face. Izuku bolted forward and jumped in the middle of the air and kneed Brainiac in the face, then slammed his right fist across Brainiac's skull, forcing Brainiac to hit the ground hard. Izuku finished up the combination with a powerful kick, making Brainiac go flying into several buildings. Izuku saw Brainiac return from the half-destroyed building. Izuku could see several spots in his armor that has a slight burn marks from the burst of energy that came off his brass knuckles. Impressive, new god. You have my full attention now. I can see why you are the favorite son of Darkseid. You fight like him. You're calculated, brutal in your movements. You are indeed a son of Darkseid. You are indeed the son of Darkseid, a child of Apocalypse. I have reevaluated your threat level. You're too dangerous to be left alive. I can't have you interfere with my current and future plans. You're going to have to die on this world. Prince of Apocalypse. Let's see what you got, Toaster, as Izuku got in the Apocalypse fighting stance. Both opponents rushed forward at the same time, as their fists collided with each other, making shock waves upon impact of their fist. Brainiac is slightly getting hurt from each fist colliding with Izuku with that brass knuckles around his knuckles. It's not super damaging, but slowly Brainiac could tell his knuckles are getting damaged. Slowly but surely. As they both slid backwards from their last attack. You gotta love them, right? These brass knuckles, they have a nasty kick to them. You gotta love Apocalypse Tech. Apocalypse Tech. Izuku blitzed towards Brainiac, breaking the street floor underneath his feet, as they clash with each other, making a huge shockwave. Several purple and pink, well, slash purple-pink bolt of energy lands several hits on Brainiac's back, making him stumble forward a little bit. He was about to turn around to see who attacked him. Izuku immediately cut the distance between each other, between him and Brainiac, and instantly slammed his fist into Brainiac's face as Brainiac goes skidding across the ground, hitting into several buildings. Black fire slowly floated down to Izuku's side. So I take it that was Brainiac? You just smashed him across his face into several buildings. You definitely have a nasty right hook. No, apparently he's fighting us in his spare body. Who knows how many bodies he's able to control. This is going to be difficult. Incoming. It seems like your new friend wants some more. And he looks kind of pissed off. A lot more than a little pissed off when I get done with him. Let's tag team him. This walking toaster. Oh, this is going to be fun. Let's put this Brainiac. Let's give Brainiac a nice little beatdown that he'll never forget. What do you think, Blackfire? As they both rush forward, flying towards Brainiac. Blackfire shot out a huge blast by using her hand blast as she begins to channel a larger attack as she unleash her charge attack from her hands towards Brainiac as Izuku shut out his green omega beams at Brainiac. Brainiac reflect Blackfire's bolt by backhanding it, the bolt, towards Izuku, who dodged the attack. Brainiac barely managed to get away from the Omega Beam. To develop protocols for such a occasion when he fights Darkseid again, using calculations to dictate where the Omega Beam is going to go. As it barely nicked his right arm, he immediately chopped the arm off, as it pretty much blew up, as the explosion from his arm made Brainiac slide backwards a little bit. As Izuku could see the missing arm from Brainiac, Izuku watches the Brainiac reconstruct his right arm in mere seconds, as he flexes his limbs to make sure it all works properly. Is that all you got? I expected more. From the son of Darkseid. Brainiac moved so fast for a pure instant, Izuku couldn't keep up, as he uppercutted Blackfire in the air and blasted her with his hand beam, then spin around and slam his fist into Izuku's stomach, then grab Izuku by the hair and smash his face into the ground and begin to stomp the new god repeatedly, making Izuku get dug deeper into the ground from each stomp. Brainiac pick up Izuku by the hair and lift him up, and repeatedly to smash his fist into his face, then toss him into nearby buildings, then charge up a humongous beam out of his hands. As the building exploded from the energy blast. That's where we're going to stop it. Hope you guys have a good night and day during my time zone. And I'll continue in the next part.